The next thing I want to talk about is Democratic Governor of California, Gavin Newsom. He appeared on MSNBC and in Gavin Newsom fashion made some really important points that I want to review. One of the things he's become known for is his willingness to get a little bit more aggressive with his messaging against Republicans than many of his Democratic counterparts, which is necessary in this moment, given the magnitude of it. And we'll also get to him addressing the bizarre right-wing freakout over Taylor Swift. But let's start with this first clip, him saying that Democrats need to go on the offense in response to the constant culture war nonsense from Republicans.
Policies are great, but as you well know, as someone who's run for office multiple times, including in this one term as governor.
I've had 3 elections in 4 years. So thank you to the recall.
Right, but as you know, elections are sometimes decided on emotion rather than concrete policies. And right now, it seems like culture war stuff, so-called culture wars, are driving people to extremes. So you mentioned it earlier, rolling back the teaching of history, putting targets on the backs of LGBTQ kids with "Don't Say Gay" bills. What is the effective message to push back against?
Well, how about have a message that's offensive, not just defensive? We've been on the defense too long. CRT, ESG, DEI. I joke, it's everything with 3 letters. DOJ, FBI, IRS. And we're constantly on the receiving end of that. Look, one thing I've learned from the propaganda networks out there, facts don't matter. Illusion rules. It's who dominates the narrative. What's Trump's success in this primary? It's about dominating the narrative. Flood the zone. When the courtroom is a campaign stop, you're flooding the zone. DeSantis said it himself. Says, it's hard to get any attention out here. So what Democrats need to do is we need to flood the zone. See, the benefit we have the facts. They don't. We have the policies. They don't. We have the record. They don't. They have rhetoric. They're obstructionists. The reason you're on a cultural purge, Republican Party, is you don't have an agenda for unifying this nation. The Democratic Party should be dominating right now. It's time to get back on the offensive and start to feel good again. How about a little joy? And I just think more of us should get out and feel proud to make the case and not feel defensive and timid about making the case when we have a great case to make.
I think it's so important that as those on the left, we really consciously make that a goal, going on the offense. For too long on so many of these political subjects, we've been on the defense, on our heels, and then spend so much time responding to the right-wing framed talking points. But as Newsom was saying, we have to get out there, and we do have facts on our side. Now let's go out and advocate on behalf of those facts as aggressively as so many others advocate on behalf of lies. And this is something in my personal life, in political conversations, I've been trying to do. When I have a friend or acquaintance, for example, who brings up all these different issues that are framed, again, and crafted to benefit the right-wing sort of narratives on a lot of subjects, and I just yank the conversation immediately over to my turf. For example, I refuse to talk about nearly any policy issue within these conversations until we come to some agreement about the issue of democracy. Meaning, if a functioning democratic process is the foundation of our entire political system as it is, and every policy discussion happens with the assumption that we can battle it out over those policies in our democratic system, then I have to put democracy at the top of the list. That has to be number one. And when someone like Donald Trump and the MAGA movement holds as much political relevance and power as they currently do, and Trump could win in this next election, then that has to be the discussion up front in any political conversation, at least with me. Trump tried to block the peaceful transfer of power last time he was president, the fake elector scheme, pressuring officials to engage in fraud, etc. And now he's saying he's going to lock up his political opponents in the second term. The government should, quote, come down hard, end quote, on media outlets he doesn't like. He plans to uproot the bureaucracy and staff it with only loyalists so nobody pushes back against him. He plans to defy Supreme Court rulings, has called for the termination of the Constitution. If we can't agree that that poses an existential threat to democracy and we need a functioning democracy to work out all those other policy issues, then I'm not really interested in your stance on taxes or energy policy or whatever it might be. And then remind people as well, alongside that argument, that Joe Biden and Democrats have the policy record in recent years, while Republicans have a record of screaming about culture war things, trying to impeach everybody, as we talked about in a previous segment, and not much else. So you can have a functioning, stable democracy and some actual policy achievements, or you can have mayhem and no policy achievements and an unstable democratic process. Next moment from this Newsom interview, he addresses the Republican meltdown over Taylor Swift.
The Republicans that are looking down and past Taylor Swift do so at their own peril. What is her sin? What is her sin? She wants more people to vote. She wants to help people register to vote and remind them the importance of expressing their democratic rights and responsibilities. Wow. And that says everything you need to know about the Republican Party. They don't want people to vote. They want to make it harder because they can't win if you vote. How sad and pathetic the Republican Party have become, that Taylor Swift literally is a threat to them for one reason. She wants folks to turn out and vote.
I mean, that's it. It's pretty stunning. I think it's time for some serious self-reflection when you are terrified by the prospect of people getting registered to vote and you're a political party. Time to do a little introspection, Republicans. The GOP understands, though, that they are so unlikely to have a message that resonates with Taylor Swift's disproportionately young audience. So instead of changing their message and changing their policies, God forbid, they would rather rage that they're observing people getting registered to vote. And even though Swift, I hope, will endorse Biden, and I expect it sort of, and she did last time, she hasn't yet. So at this point in time, all this panic is just over, as Newsom said, her encouraging people to exercise the right that has been fought for and people have died for, countless people throughout our history. And this anti-Taylor Swift sentiment has continued throughout the weekend. I know David covered it last week, but here's more from over the weekend from a contributor on Fox News.
I got 20 seconds for you. You weighed in on the Taylor mania a few weeks ago when you said she was partially responsible for the Kansas City Chiefs losing a couple of games. Do you stand by that comment?
I hope that she's the Yoko Ono of the Kansas City Chiefs and she destroys their dynasty and puts them down in flames. That's why I am proudly supporting the San Francisco 49ers, America's team, on Sunday against Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, Taylor Swift, and Travis Kelce.
You got
Niners.
All right.
So he was saying Taylor Swift was causing the Chiefs to lose. That was his previous analysis. And now they're in the Super Bowl. Doesn't seem like he's the most wise on the subject. And now, apparently, just to spite Swift, he's a 49ers fan. Get a life. Go outside. That's crazy. Imagine being that petty. I don't get it. Here's more.
Relationships have been
overplayed
for the past decade.
Of course it's overplayed. She's like the most popular singer on the planet.
Right, but every relationship she has fails. So her whole calendar is about people she dated that she now hates.
All right,
that's
there's
her
always
entire.
hope.
So
I want to get to
Travis
Cup Elvis.
Travis Kelce is going to get ripped. Yes.
So now this Fox News contributor is reduced to roasting the relationship history of one of those most popular people in America. It really is amazing what the right-wing media echo chamber can do to you. By the way, the idea that it's a Taylor Swift unique phenomenon, that all of her past relationships, quote unquote, failed, as he said, meaning they didn't end in marriage, I guess. That's literally the history of everyone ever. You date people, then it doesn't work out until you find the right person. It's called life. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'm on YouTube at Luke Beasley. Subscribe there. Plus, podcast listeners, you can listen to my show by searching The Luke Beasley Show on any platform. Back after this.
I love exploring new countries. If you follow me on Instagram, you see me in Italy or France or Denmark, Spain. I do speak English and Spanish fluently, but if I'm going somewhere where there is a different language spoken, I turn to an app called Babbel. Our sponsor, Babbel, is the app that can help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. I'm busy running a business. My daughter is running around. So Babbel's bite-sized 10-minute lessons are just perfect for me. I can do it on the go, do it during a lunch break. It's only a little bit of a time commitment each time, and you end up with a surprising level of comfort with the language after just a few weeks, which was perfect before my recent trip to Italy, studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove Babbel is better and Babbel is faster. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester at college in a language class. You'll get 50% off a one-time payment for a lifetime Babbel subscription. You get access for life for half off. Go to babbel.com/Pacman. Rules and restrictions may apply. The link is down below.